Good afternoon, families. Thank you for joining us. The time is 12:01 and we will begin momentarily. Again, good afternoon, ECA family and friends, and ECA staff members. Welcome to our parent informational for summer school 2020. Um, I did receive a number of questions in the registration section, and we will hope to address them all in today's informational. If there are items that you would like to hear more about or questions that you still have, please make sure that you put them in the chat feature, okay? So the items that we'll hopefully go over are the policies for ECA, what the schedule for the 5-day summer school program will look like, the ways in which we will communicate between the staff, students, and families, how the roster will be working, and you'll see invitations coming about that soon. And the last two are just the instructional program and the technology by which we're using to continue our distance learning. So summer school, it begins on Monday coming, which is June 15th, and it will end July 10th. So this is a Monday through Friday program, and we did ask to have the time frames between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. available for the distance learning. It is not mandatory, yet we highly encourage you to participate. Coming from this pandemic, we want to provide any and every opportunity to continue providing targeted instruction. So participation in summer school programs has been shown to have substantial and beneficial effects on the educational progress. So again, we want to continue to support our students to keep them on track and even provide some forms of enrichment where opportunities lie. And for ECA, summer school is designed to provide that continued targeted instruction to all students at their current grade level. So there were some questions that asked, would we teach, for example, third grade material to our incoming third graders? Our second grade students will receive targeted instruction from the second grade standards. However, based on the progress that will take place during summer school, we can provide enrichment. So it would definitely prepare all of our students for the upcoming grades. Here are the policies. The policies were also posted in the registration, so you should already be familiar, but I just wanted to take a moment to go over each one. And again, if there are any questions, please make sure you put them in the chat feature. The first one is that any child who does not engage via Zoom, Class Dojo, or with MobiMax by Wednesday, June 17th, will be dropped from the roster. Even if students are registered and we do not see their participation as of Wednesday, we're going to remove them with the assumption that they are not going to participate in summer school. So we ask once the program begins on Monday the 15th, that everybody log on to Class Dojo and get started with the fun with each of your teachers. The next point is that after 5 absences during the 4 weeks of summer school, because it is a short time frame, your child may be excluded from attending. An absence consists of not attending the biweekly Zoom lessons, and we'll talk more about that, responding to Class Dojo posts, and completing assignments on MobiMax for our K-3 students, and for our pre-K students, the use of the pre-K workbook. Good attendance is expected, and after 3 consecutive days, you may be contacted by school administration. We still take responsibility as long as you're signed up for summer school for supporting your children. So we look at their engagement on our digital platforms as our means for attendance. Again, you can use Class Dojo as the primary means of communication with the teacher and other ECA staff members. Just a moment to talk about behavior. that good behavior is required. We reserve the right to terminate summer school participation for any student who disrupts the synchronous learning activities. We ask that all communication with summer school staff take place during the 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. hours. However, feel free to leave messages for any ECA PCS staff members for return contact within 24 hours. This communication is just for summer school. I know a number of parents are still enrolling and they have other questions about getting report cards and so forth. Please make sure you continue to reach out during the regular business hours to any of the ECA staff. However, if it is summer school related, we ask that you target the time frames between those hours so that you'll get a pretty speedy response. And lastly, be aware that our pre-K3 and pre-K4 students will need adult support to participate in Zoom lessons and respond to follow-up activities via Class Dojo and their Scholastic Pre-K workbook. Our teachers will be asking students to log on to participate in these Zoom lessons, and we know that they would need support getting onto the device. And also during that Zoom lesson, there may be activities where a child needs to have something readily available. So we're asking for adults to make sure that they log on and support our little learners with the activities that are going to be set for them. Just a bit about scheduling and rostering. So here's the schedule at a glance. In our registration packet, there was a question that asked, will the Zoom meetings be, or the lessons be 3 hours long? They will not. So we're just saying that summer school will, the activity for summer school will take place between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. If a child has a follow-up activity, they have the rest of the day to go ahead and submit it for teacher feedback. Each day, on Mondays, you'll have your reading lessons on Zoom. This is when we would ask for all students to log on to the link that will be provided by the summer school teacher for their reading lesson. On Tuesdays, we will have a reading video and assignment, but that will be posted on Class Dojo. So Mondays, they would have the direct instruction with their summer school teacher using Zoom, have some form of engagement activity also on the Zoom call with a follow-up. And then on Tuesdays, they would receive a review video about next steps from the lesson that they participated in from Monday with an assignment that they would get on Class Dojo. We would follow that same rotation when it comes to math. So again, on Wednesdays, they would log back onto Zoom for their math lesson with their teacher, an engagement activity following. Then on Thursdays, view the math review video or the continuation of learning and receive an assignment on Class Dojo. Finally, on Fridays, we ask that you go back to Class Dojo to see one more set of videos for reading and one for math, and get instructions on the assessment. I'll give more information about the assessment piece in just a moment. So our wonderful instructional staff for summer school are as follows. Miss Catrice Heath will have a combination class of pre-K3 and pre-K4 students. Miss Tara Nixon is our kindergarten teacher. Also available for extended school year, we have Miss India Patrick that will support all students pre-K and kindergarten, and we'll talk just a little bit more about what extended school year is and who would be in each class. Next, we have Mrs. Tashi Screen, who will be our first grade lead. Miss Victoria Mitchell would also have a combination class of second and third grade students. And finally, for our extended school year or ESY, we have Mrs. Tiffany Schaffner that will support students in grades 1 through 3. For all of our general ed students, they will be placed by grade level. But those students that will participate in Ms. Patrick and Ms. Schaffner's class would be students that have already been identified by Ms. Tiffany Johnson under what's called ESY, or the extended school year. ESY provides services that are designed to support a student with a disability as documented under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, to maintain academic, social behavioral, communication, or other skills that they have learned as part of their individual education program. Students with IEPs with over 5 hours of service will receive specialized instruction with updated goals. Therefore, the students that will be in Ms. Patrick's class and Mrs. Schaffner's class are those students that have over 5 hours of service hours, and they will receive updated goals. Ms. Tiffany Johnson, our special ed coordinator, has already reached out to most of the families. So if you, or your student, I should say, fall under this umbrella, you will already have been placed in Ms. Patrick and Ms. Schaffner's classroom. At the end of summer school, students that are on those two ESY groups will receive a progress report on their students' goals. Along the way, if there are ever any questions about those supports provided in those classrooms, please first reach out to your summer school teacher, and you may also reach out with any questions or concerns with Mrs. Tiffany Johnson, our special ed coordinator. So just to give a little background about Zoom, a number of our teachers during our distance learning used Zoom as their means of engagement and connection with the students. So again, just to reiterate, on Mondays and on Wednesdays, where Mondays is reading and Wednesdays is math, expect a reoccurring scheduled Zoom link for a lesson that will last no longer than 30 to 40 minutes. We're just providing that time for that teacher to provide that direct instruction with the students and to have some type of engaging activity. So look for the link to be posted on your Class Dojo summer school class list. Once you log on to that link, you will also see information about what to potentially bring to that lesson. For example, for math lessons, we have students to always do a problem of the day. So a teacher may ask for you to bring that completed problem of the day so that it can be presented at the beginning of that math Zoom lesson. Then the teacher will go straight into their direct instruction with some form of fun activity related to that skill. Then students will receive an activity to complete based off of what they just learned and engaged with on that Zoom lesson. That activity can be posted in several ways. So if it's reading, there are some activities that we will have done directly in our EPIC account. Earlier in our distance learning, approximately late April, families and teachers received an invitation to join our school's EPIC page. The name of the site is getepic.com. If you have not had an opportunity to explore Get Epic, the class code is at the bottom of the screen as it reads RTQ9384. Just to give you a little more background about EPIC, it is a wonderful reading program that provides books that students can pick out as interest. It also provides reading books of the week that EPIC feels your children may enjoy. It also provides books at the child's reading level. So if you use this icon that says DRA, you can put in your child's grade level, and if you know approximately their reading level, You can put that in and it gives books to the children that they can read on their own and at their own instructional level. Also, there's a read to me section. So our little learners, maybe pre-K 3 and pre-K 4, that would like to see the book but be read to them, they would use that option. There are also books that have video components, so it may look like mini cartoons. And finally, audiobooks. Some of the audiobooks may be those nonfiction texts that are read by the author or other famous people. Epic is a wonderful reading resource that teachers will be using throughout the summer school. Again, that video just showed you the invitation that our summer school teachers will send so that we can just create a summer school class. You still have access to all other books at that time, but during the summer school time frame, your teachers may be using books for read aloud and for guided reading lessons that are going to come from Epic. Okay. Next, once a child has completed their assignment, whether it was provided to them via the Zoom lesson, and a teacher says, okay, take your math activity, take a picture of it, and we're going to post it on our portfolios on Class Dojo. Class Dojo has typically been used for providing points when it comes to students' instructional activities and for behavior as well. But we wanted to tap into another feature that Class Dojo provides, which is the portfolio. Within the portfolio, a child can take a picture, they can narrate via a voice memo, they can take a short video, and they can also simply type in or draw based on the device that you're using. And finally, we had such a great time with our engineering challenges during distance learning. We thought that we would try to figure out how to have virtual field trips. So the Smithsonian and other museums have actually created a website of virtual field trips for early childhood education. So look out weekly for the field trip of the week. Again, it is not mandatory. It's just like when we ran our engineering challenge of the week. But we'd like for you all to participate, and there will be some type of posting that we would like for you to complete at the end of that field trip. And we hope that they can all be posted. So just like Mrs. Shannon posted on all of our social media, we wanted to kind of share what you all have learned based on those field trips over the next 4 weeks. So again, I thank you for your time. I thank you for coming, and I hope to spend the next few minutes answering any questions that may not have been answered during this informational. So we will start taking questions now. The first question in the chat is how will distance learning look for the upcoming school year as well? And thank you to Mrs. Edwards for responding that we're in the process of planning our distance learning model for the upcoming school year. And thank you, Mr. Ingram, for responding as well, saying to making sure parents reach out to teachers for the child's instructional reading level when using EPIC. We have the data using our NWEA status, and our teachers have access to that so they can be able to share with you the instructional reading level, because we don't want you to become frustrated. So thank you, Mr. Ingram. And sure, I will send the video that I showed here in the informational, as well as support anyone that has questions about the use of our distance learning platform, specifically the portfolio. I will oh yes, all of the All of the links and this presentation itself will be sent out for everyone to go back and refer to, with just a few points that were brought up in the chat so that you'll have them readily available. Myself, Ms. Lakia Edwards, and Ms. Pamela Falcon will support all teachers throughout the summer school program, as well as our special ed coordinator, Ms. Tiffany Johnson. If you have any other questions, you can also feel free to reach out to the three of us. And Ms. Edwards, Ms. Lakia Edwards, will respond to some other questions if they come up. Okay, well, I don't see any other questions. And again, you have myself, Ms. Lakia Edwards, Ms. Pamela Falcon to refer to, as well as our awesome summer school staff. We know that it will be fun. We thank you for registering for summer school program, and make sure that you use this time to, if you do have to come to the school for enrollment purposes, use that time also to pick up the pre-K workbook if you do not have one for your pre-K 3 or 4 child. I also received a question about picking up devices, and we will not be providing any more ECA loaned devices for summer school. However, if you do have a loaned device that you picked up during our distance learning time frame, you'll be able to hold on to that device through the duration of summer school, which ends July 10th. So if there are any families that are not participating in summer school, that's the only set of families that will stick to turning in those devices on July 1st. But with me not seeing any other questions, thank you again for your time. Thanks for registering your little ones and trusting us with continued learning.